So I was smiling from ear to ear. I know you couldn't see that, and thank you for this mask. Chancellor, graduates, family, distinguished guests, faculty, and friends, it is truly an honor to be recognized in this way, and I am so grateful. Like you, and I imagine everyone here, the virtual here, I was looking forward to being in Asheville today to celebrate with the class of 2020. And while I'm sorry we cannot meet in person, it is my great pleasure to share this time with you virtually. So congratulations, graduates, and congratulations to all of the important people in your lives who have stood by you, supported you, listened to you, strengthened you, and yes, maybe even cried with you as you have been on your journeys. Right now, we are all experiencing a time we could not have imagined just a few short months ago. Graduating from college in the midst of a global pandemic, no doubt, is replete with mixed emotions and thoughts. And that's okay. Yes, there are feelings of loss for how you envision this moment. Allow yourselves the space and the time to feel all of those feelings. But with absolute certainty, you should also feel joy and a sense of accomplishment. So I hope you will cherish and celebrate this day as the culmination of your hard work, dedication, and commitment. Not so long ago, well, maybe a little longer than I care to admit, I graduated from West Virginia University, and I can vividly remember the excitement and fear, apprehension and doubt I felt at the beginning of my journey. I was hoping one day, though, that I might fulfill the promise that so many helped me achieve. And so my purpose today, graduates, is to give you a little encouragement, a little real talk, and a little advice from lessons I have learned along my journey. I want to start with a story a friend of mine once shared. So his nephew came in at the end of his kindergarten year and proudly announced that he did not need to go on to the first grade, as he had learned everything he needed to know in kindergarten. Now, he had really given this a lot of thought. He said, I learned my ABCs, I learned how to take turns, and I learned how to share. Now, in today's lingo, that would be hashtag I'm done, hashtag kindergarten. But getting beneath the hashtag and the headline, there was some wisdom in his pronouncement. The ABCs are foundational for reading, and each of you has used that skill masterfully to get to this moment. Taking turns is foundational in demonstrating care and concern and respect for others, and in believing that everyone deserves an opportunity. Sharing. In the act of sharing, we affirm that others matter, that it's not just about me. And believe me, this is coming from an only child, and that the collective community is important. So while these are valuable life lessons, I guess I have to disagree with stopping after kindergarten. And thank goodness none of you did. By virtue of your virtual presence today, you decided to journey on a little bit beyond kindergarten. Now, each of you has had a unique journey that brought you here today. For some of you, it may have been a straight line. For others, detours along the way. And that's okay, because everyone endures hardship and struggle and challenge along their path. My journey was no different, but through struggle comes perspective and hopefully some wisdom to impart to others. So here's a little bit of my wisdom for you today. The first thing I want you to do is always be curious. Here's where those ABCs come in handy. As much as you have already read more. Commit to being a lifelong learner. Be curious and open and willing to learn about others who don't live near you, look like you, or believe like you. Ask questions about the world around you. Don't believe everything you read on social media or see on the news. As a physician, that's a lesson I'd like everyone to learn. I think that will help us get through this pandemic. Be open to intergenerational learning. There is so much we can learn from one another, and no generation has the market cornered on wisdom. Hone your critical thinking skills and be self-aware. Be willing to even challenge your own assumptions and be willing to self-correct when you discover something new or you discovered you were wrong. A fixed mindset never accomplishes anything. Be strategic. Act, but act with purpose and a plan. Say yes. Opportunities will come your way that may take you out of your comfort zone, but know that your talent, your hard work, your persistence has prepared you for saying yes. Now, I am a psychiatrist and I do believe in self-care, so sometimes you do have to say no. Make sure that you don't overextend yourselves in those opportunities, those myriad opportunities that will come your way. Be courageous. Notice I didn't say fearless. Fear is a normal human emotion from which we cannot escape. But courage means acting as you know you should, even if you are afraid. Understand that change in life is constant, and every generation must face its own challenges. Now, your challenges include starting your careers in the midst of a health crisis and economic downturn, the magnitude of which we have not seen in generations. Working to maintain connectedness and a sense of community in a world that can at times feel impersonal and isolating. Making sense of and deciphering the glut of information, sometimes misinformation, that is always at our fingertips. And living in an age of anxiety and polarization. But in the midst of all of these challenges and all of this change, do you know what won't change? Your character, your compassion, and your perseverance. The very qualities that led you to this moment are the qualities you can trust to lead you through your careers. So keep being your best selves. And that brings me to my final piece of advice from the immortal words of Quavo, Takeoff, and Offset. Now that's right, Migos. And some of the older folks in the audience my age are probably gonna have to Google that. And don't worry, Chancellor, I won't be sharing any of the lyrics that aren't G-rated. Now, I'm old and I certainly don't have the skills of a rapper. But what phrase has Migos made famous? Walk it like I talk it. This is a phrase that is profound in its simplicity and wisdom. But let's flip it, because I also want you to remember the converse. Talk it like you walk it. Find the confidence to stand in your authentic voice. And what do I mean by that? Find the faith in your beliefs and speak them out loud, which sometimes, often, means speaking truth to power. Mahatma Gandhi tells us, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions, and your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. So your words, your voice matters. So as you take the next steps in your journey, wherever that may be, you will need to discover your authentic voice and stand firm against the headwinds that will sometimes try to knock you off course. I share that history. There were plenty who doubted me, even discouraged me from becoming a physician. There were times when I was certain that everyone in the room, from the classroom to the boardroom, was smarter than me. There were times when I had a different opinion than everyone else, and I just knew that my opinion had to be wrong. But I can say for certain, as I look back on all of those times, there were moments when I didn't speak up, and I truly wished I had. And on the times and the moments where I did speak up, I was so glad that I did. Remember, graduates, you will have privilege that places you in the room where it happens, to use a reference from the musical Hamilton. So have faith in your beliefs when among your peers, your supervisors, your managers, your family in this world, and stand in your authentic voice. As Maya Angelou said, there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. And I can guarantee you this: when you stand in your authentic voice, you will know up here and feel in here that you have done the right thing. So UNC Asheville Bulldogs class of 2020, congratulations on all that you have accomplished, and Godspeed in the future that awaits you. Thank you.